morning and welcome to JoyNews Interactive with me, Mapita CBD. You know how to join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. We are JoyNews on TV. So send your comments and your messages. We love hearing from you. Now, today on the show, we're talking about Momo, and I have three lovely friends of mine joining me via Zoom. We'll get to that. But before then, I wanted to talk about Momo usage in Ghana. Let's see if we can get that graphic onto your screens. Okay, so this is national, urban and rural analysis of the mobile money usage in Ghana. So at 40.8%, Ghanaians use mobile money. And then in urban communities is 49.3%. And in the rural communities, it's 32.1%. So that's how the stats are looking. So we've got 40.8% of Ghanaians using mobile money, and then in urban communities, 49.3% in urban communities, and 32.1% are in rural communities. All right, now the reason why we're talking about mobile money is because mobile money users in New Jobang North municipality have expressed dissatisfaction over the telecommunications network decision to introduce a valid ID in its cash out transaction. So the directive, which will take effect from tomorrow, Friday, April 2nd, 2021, would require customers to present any of the following ID cards. So it's either your Ghana card, your driving license, your passport, voter's ID, or your NHIS before any Momo cash out withdrawal transaction could be proceeded to curb the fraud in the country. Now, however, some customers were not happy with the directive, saying that carrying the ID cards for the transaction would cause delays. I've got Ella, Mabel, and Damsey joining us via Zoom, and we are going to talk about this. Good morning, guys. Please unmute yourself. Wait for me. Let me see if you can hear me. Ella, Mabel, and Damsey, can you hear me? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with Damsey. Now, Damsey, let's talk about, okay, we've got the 40%, 40.8% Ghanaians use mobile money. Are you part of that 40.8%?
Hello, good morning. Yes, definitely I'm part of the 48%. I use mobile money more than I ever use my bank, so.
Okay, and now what are your thoughts on this? Now you have to, provide either your ID, your passport, voter's ID. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, initially when I heard the news, I was a bit disappointed in MTN because I felt this was going to open a floodgate to a lot of things. Because once people who have bad intentions get hold of people's IDs and masks, and they can use it for lots of unscrupulous things. Mm-hmm. But then they say they are doing this to prevent scam and fraud. And whilst on one hand, it's a bit understandable, on the other hand, it opens the door to a lot of other potential risk that the people who do these transactions with their IDs will be facing. Mm-hmm. Because if someone can have my ID and quickly scan it or quickly take a picture of it, it can be used for a lot of unscrupulous things. Yeah. So whilst they are trying to prevent fraud, they're also opening the door to a lot of other types of fraud, which can be very dangerous going forward. All right, so let's go to Mabel. Mabel, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, now, so tell me, let's start with the 49.3% of mobile money users in urban communities. Do you think this is, were you expecting a larger percentage?
Please come again. I can't hear you.
All right, so mobile money users, 49% of them are in the urban communities. A lot of people in the urban communities use mobile money. Do you think that, were you expecting a bigger percentage?
Yeah, because looking at mobile money introduction, mobile money is a very fast way of transacting and then a mode of payment. So I was actually expecting a more larger or percentage of the urban community, but And the 49% also is also a good percentage because it has close to a half percentage of the people using mobile money. Yeah. So I think it's a good percentage. But the introduction of, for me, I think that the initiative to introduce your ID cards would also help, like, go a long way in reducing mobile money fraud that we are facing. Because looking at this times of pandemic, this COVID era, we've had an absurd rise in fraud and this whole fake mobile money agents coming up to tell you to do this and that. So I think that it will go a long way in reducing the fraud. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Ella. Good morning. All right, now tell me, do you have any bad experiences with mobile money? Maybe someone calling and impersonating themselves, saying that, okay, I sent you money and, please send it back. Have you ever had that experience?
Well, yeah, I actually have. I've had a bad experience with one of these scammers, but then fortunately for me, I already knew about it, so they were not able to go through with their plan.
So tell me, how did it go? How did it go about? What did they say to you?
Well, I had a number calling me, and when the guy called, he said he had mistakenly deposited money into my account because he was sending the money to someone else, and then he missed the numbers, and so he deposited the money into my account. So I told him that, okay, well, that is fine. So I went to check and I realized that there was no deposit. And I told him that, well, he should check from the vendor again to make sure that there hasn't been any mix-up because I haven't received any money. And he kept insisting. So I just didn't pick up his calls again because I knew he was a fraud.
Yeah. All right. Now, tell me about your thoughts on, having to provide your ID card so that you can get your money.
Well, I think it's a good initiative.
Okay.
Actually, it is something that has been in existence. It's just that it wasn't enforced.
Yeah.
So now it is going to be obligated that before you can cash out money, you'd have to send a valid ID card.
Yeah.
Which is very good. So I disagree with Damsey, right?
Yeah.
I disagree with him saying that it's going to cause some troubles, because I think if someone should get a copy of your ID card, send it to a vendor to withdraw money, the person would have to have your PIN number as well, your Momo PIN number as well. So even if the person has your ID card and your number, without the person wouldn't be able to withdraw money for you.
Can I add a little bit too?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, so what I was speaking about was identity theft. Okay, so assuming I send my passport to a vendor and I go to withdraw money. Now, this vendor, assuming he's a bad actor, he takes a picture of my passport or whatever ID I sent, or he scans it. And he's going to use my details to do a lot of things which can lead to other damage, financial or otherwise.
Okay.
He can use my passport details to register for certain things. He can use to steal my identity online, and which can be very damaging. So whilst MTN is trying to prevent fraud on their mobile money platform, they've opened the doors to fraud on other platforms. Okay. And they've opened the doors to other types of fraud, which can take effect if the wrong people get hold of these IDs. And that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, that is what
all right, so Damsey, let me ask you this question. Let's say you're traveling to the US or South Africa or whatever. If you go to the visa office, you have to hand in your passport. Your bio page is needed.
Yes.
Don't you think that, it will still open up the field for fraud?
Now, the difference is the people who work in these passport offices and the visa office are employees of the various places where they work. Okay. But Vodafone vendors, MTN mobile money vendors are not employees of MTN.
Okay.
They are agents. They are independent contractors. and hence there can be bad actors amongst them. We've had several instances where someone goes to a mobile money vendor to withdraw money, and a few days later or the very same day, the person starts receiving text messages from some unscrupulous people. And people, come together and they try to scam people and all that. And so there are bad agents within the mobile money industry. There are bad agents within these people who do the transactions.
Yeah.
And so if I'm going to give my passport or any important ID that I have to these bad agents, then it's going to open me up to lots of other potential fraud.
Well, do you have a bad experience? Because it seems like you're talking from some sort of experience.
So, two things. First of all, I'm trained in information security from the University of Ghana.
Okay.
And the second thing is, yes, I have had a bad experience. And it was an attempted scam. After going to an agent to withdraw money, then I received a text message a few hours later saying they've made a deposit into my account. And the shocking part was they were able to tell exactly how much was in my account. So assuming they sent me a text message, I made a deposit of 200 cedis,
okay,
and there was 1,000 Ghana cedis in my account. They're able to say that their balance is now 1,200. So how these people are able to know how much is in my account tells you that there are people who have access to certain information within MTN. How they have that access, I do not know. And that's what MTN needs to sort out. Not opening the door. If you are trying to be penny wise but pound foolish, it opens the entire citizenry to a huge, database theft, and identity theft is going to be a serious issue going forward in this country.
All right, Damsey, we'll come back to you. Mabel, any bad experience?
Yes, but actually it was an attempted fraud. So I had this call. I had a message at first that an amount has been transacted into my account. So I saw the message and the amount, but then later I wanted to check into my account, but later I had a call, and then the person was like, they had mistakenly sent money into my account, so I should send it back. So I wanted to do the sending back of the money until a friend told me that no, this is another means of them trying to fraud you or take out your money. So immediately you try to enter your PIN to check your account balance or try to send it, then use that means in taking the money. But it was so fortunate for me that I was not able to send the money back to them here.
All right. So in conclusion, are you for or against?
So for me, I'm for. Like,
okay.
I go with the initiative. I think for me, it will reduce the cyber fraud in the system. For me, I think that is a good initiative, in as much as it has its own side effects, but its advantages outweighs the disadvantages.
All right. So from Mabel, it's a good thing. Ella, are you for or against?
Well, I'm actually for.
Okay.
I stand with Mabel with this. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Damsey, in conclusion, wrap up this conversation for us. So, are you for or against? Or standing in between?
I am definitely not for, and I'm not completely against it.
Okay.
I don't know if you are familiar with the Cobra effect. And I believe this is going to lead to the Cobra effect.
Tell us about it.
Where in trying to solve one problem, you end up creating a bigger problem. And I believe that this is going to cause a huge problem in the country going forward.
Okay. All right. So you're like 50-50. Do you have any suggestions?
No, like 80-20.
80-20. Okay. Do you have any suggestions? A suggestion you think that will actually work? Or we should keep it the way it's going?
So if MTN wants to prevent fraud, I believe first thing is the fraud is mostly with people who work in MTN. Because the first question to ask yourself is, how did they get our contact? How did they know how much is in our MTN, in our mobile money wallets? So they need to start checking within themselves and start getting rid of the actors within the organization. Then we can look at how we can implement proper checks. We can have two-factor authentication. We can have, there are different things that we can implement to prevent the mobile money fraud and all that. But the bad actors are within MTN, and that is where they should start. Okay,
so that is according to you, Damzi. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Mabel, Damzi, and Ella for that. On that note, I'm going to take a quick breather. We'll be back with more.